Hey buddy, listen, you've been working hard today. You deserve a soul ring. Listen, every once in a while in what's typically a 4-player game, somebody gets out ahead and has a little more mana than everybody else. That sucks. That's the worst. That player is complete trash baskets and just a tornado of vile effluvium. So how are we going to punish those horrid monsters who stick Soul Ring into their decks? Well, Nicky G is here to tell you to elucidate your options. Listen, if you like these videos, do the free thing. Let me know. Hit the like and subscribe buttons, brother. I try to include cards you've never seen before, so maybe you see something new. We're exploring the dank tunnels of the internet today. Soul Ring is the most ubiquitous card in the format. My philosophy on this is that if your opponent is deploying resources and you destroy them, that's good. But if you can utilize those resources for yourself, that's better. Everybody's running a Soul Ring, everyone. And you don't want to be the sad panda at the table playing spells on curve. So sit back, relax. We're going to talk about ways you can take advantage of your opponent's Soul Rings. Alright, we've all sat down at a table, alright? And then Johnny Shingle Nuts over there across the table, he plays a turn 1 Soul Ring. He's about to blast you right in the jowls, dude. Probably my favorite way to punish this is the Thieving Skydiver. It's 1 in the blue for a creature, merfolk, rogue. It's a 2/1 with kicker X and flying. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, gain control of target artifact with mana value X or less. If that artifact is an equipment, attach it to Thieving Skydiver. This fish is doing acro yoga. She's keeping it tight, even if her husband never notices. You know, but I notice, brother. I notice. Hell yeah. Steal those lightning greaves. Steal that skull clamp. Steal my heart. Another underrated, unsung hero in my red decks is Old Proboscis, also known as the Treasure Nabber. He's literally holding a Soul Ring in the art. So this is 2 in a red for a creature, Goblin Rogue. It's a 3/2. Whenever an opponent taps an artifact for mana, gain control of that artifact until the end of your next turn. There is so much irrational hate for this thing. People think you keep it forever. You know, I just get it for a few minutes, dude. Relax. I'm going to give it back. Settle down. Esther, take your meds. I play this and the shriek of 1,000 Chuck E. Cheese birthday parties erupts around the whole damn table. Now this guy, Dank Fapton, he of the sore hand, 1 blue and a red for a legendary planeswalker, Dak, with starting loyalty 3. It has +1, target player draws 2 cards and discards 2 cards. That's fantastic. -2, gain control of target artifact. And then he has a -6, which you're never going to get to because he's going to be dead. So you pay 3 mana, you gain control of target artifact. Brother, maybe this guy sticks around. This guy shredded all the skin off his hand, dude. This got a little pricey. Has a secret lair edition that is impossible to parse. This card, man, I've been banging on about this card forever. Praetor's Grasp, 1 black for a sorcery. Search target opponent's library for a card, exile it face down. Then that player shuffles. You may look at and play that card for as long as it remains exiled. It's like Demonic Tutor for your opponent's decks. I mentioned this card in videos before, and it's another pricey one. As a matter of fact, a couple years ago, I put out a video about how this card was $6 after the secret lair. Now it's 16. Did you listen to me and pick up a copy? No, you didn't. You brought shame to me and your Zaibatsu. I just use this as a ramp in a black deck. This card is totally bonkers, and now you fools will have to pay $11. Or just run a proxy, I guess. This guy's just a larcenous damn bird. The Souvenir Snatcher, 4 in a blue for a creature bird. It's a 4/4. Has mutate for 5 in a blue. Has flying. Whenever this creature mutates, gain control of target non-creature artifact. This is a little pricier than I like mana-wise, but you get a 4/4 bird, and it's neat in a mutate deck. That's it. It's neat, it's a bird, and that's better commander, dude. Speaking of flying, we have the Hellkite Tyrant, 4 red for a creature dragon. It's a 6/5 with flying and trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 more artifacts, you win the game. Okay, calm down for a second. Stop scrolling Grindr and OnlyFans for 2 seconds, will you please? This guy is only 250 or so right now, man. This needs haste terribly. It needs to be a surprise, but if your commander enables that type of strategy or that's part of your deal in your commander deck, slap in and grab that Soul Ring, brother. Look at me, I'm a philosopher. Grell Philosopher is a 2 in a blue for a creature. It's a horror wizard just like Harry Potter. Has aberrant tinkering. When it enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep, each horror you control gains all activated abilities of target artifact and opponent controls until end of turn. You may spend blue mana as though it were mana of any color to activate those abilities. If you look real close at the tentacles, and I know you are, you can see a tiny Soul Ring, and you're inspecting those tentacles and you're just a sick freak, but this is a really fun card, dude. Memnarch, a card so vile it's not even printed in the modern frame. 7 generic mana for a legendary artifact creature. It's a wizard, it's a 4/5. Has 1 blue. Target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types. This effect lasts indefinitely, or 3 and a blue, gain control of target artifact. This effect also lasts indefinitely. You know the meme where the kitten starts flashing back to Vietnam? That's what happens to old Commander players when Memnarch hits the field. This is actually pretty tame by today's standards, it's pretty expensive, it's kind of clunky, unless you're generating infinite mana and just take everything on the battlefield. This guy needs to hit the gym though, man. Look at those tiny arms. This guy, I love this guy. Geth, Lord of the Vault, 4 black for a legendary creature, Phyrexian zombie. It's a 5/5 with Intimidate, which means it can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that share a color with it. Has X and a black, put target artifact or creature card with mana value X from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control tapped, then that player mills X cards. This is another old Commander card that kind of got powered out of the format a little bit, but in a mill deck, this gets all those sweet rocks out of the yard. I always like this guy because he's just a head stapled to the big old Lego body that he made. Another underappreciated card that needs a little head start, no pun intended, but is a decent reanimation target. Hostage Takers, a real girl boss out there. 2 blue and a black for a creature, human pirate. It's a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, exile another target creature or artifact until it leaves the battlefield. You may cast that card as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. I was really psyched when I packed this card, and I think it's a banger. Just wait till you're at 5 mana, snag that Soul Ring, brother. Snag it, hold it hostage. Just a fantastic card. How's about Acquire? 3 blue for a sorcery. Search target opponent's library for an artifact card. Put that card onto the battlefield under your control, then that player shuffles. Look at this guy, man. He's stealing the Sword of Doom right off the wall, man. This is 5 mana. It's a big investment to get a Soul Ring, but I use this to get bigger artifacts and artifact creatures. This is a $3 card that ages like fine wine. Fractured Identity. I just wanted to mention this card because I think it's an interesting and goofy Commander card. Looks like a Billie Eilish album cover. It's tough being alive or something like that. I shattered my fragile emotional state looking at this card. So you exile target non-land permanent. Each player other than its controller creates a token that's a copy of it. Neat. And of course, Blatant Thievery. 4 blue for a sorcery. For each opponent, gain control of target permanent that player controls. Classic card that sets your opponents back their best permanent, sets you ahead. You're never casting this on turn 7, you're cheating it out somehow with cost reducers or some kind of sorcery trickery. It's about $5. Pretty powerful card. It's Revenge of the Owls, man. Look at the owl getting revenge on this dude, slapping the heck out of him. You want a sick budget card for your blink decks? How about the Master Thief? 2 blue for a creature, human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of target artifact for as long as you control Master Thief. You lose control of it, it exiles the battlefield, it goes to your graveyard. You're done, dude. This is a gem in rogue decks though. A little overpriced, probably never wasted. If anything, you draw removal down on this guy. He's dodging the pandemic wearing his mask. And if you want to get real nasty, there's a $6 version that costs 7 mana, Agent of Treachery. But you get to keep that permanent forever. And at the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more permanents you don't own, draw 3 cards. This guy is universally hated. This is the ultimate theft card. Now you got a tricky little merfolk out here. Theta Adel Acquisitor, 1 blue for a legendary creature merfolk rogue. It's a 2/2 with Island Walk. Whenever Theta Adel Acquisitor deals combat damage to a player, search that player's library for an artifact card and exile it. Then that player shuffles. Until the end of turn, you may play that card. Theta Adel's on that Ozempic, baby. Maybe dial back the dose. You're becoming 2-dimensional out there, Theta. This is a really fun card. Currently $13. And lastly here, but not least, we have some token copy effects. I play this in a couple decks. Saheeli's Artistry, 4 blue for a sorcery. Choose one or both. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact, or create a token that's a copy of target creature, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. I love stuff like this, man. Big splashy spells that scale with the game. You can get a Soul Ring if you want, dude, but you can also get a creature off of this. Hits anything on the battlefield. And look at this gem, a Red Sun's Twilight. X red for a sorcery, destroy up to X target artifacts. If X is 5 or more, for each artifact destroyed this way, create a token that's a copy of it. Those tokens gain haste, exile them at the beginning of the next end step. I think this one's a little underrated, but you need to get to 7 mana, and there usually isn't that many artifacts to copy. Say you hit 3, is it worth it? Maybe. Set your opponent's back and spring you forward. That Red Sun's Twilight's really good in a not a Dawn Crown deck. There's your tip. Schema Thief, 3 and a blue for a creature, Vidalcan Rogue Artificer. It's a 3/3 with flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of target artifact that player controls. I've never actually tried this card, but it's got flying, would trigger every time you got in to hit. A little pricey, and again would go great in a rogue deck. I like how this guy is riding an air bike or something, then people complain about Space Marines. Whatever, man. So there you go, there are some options to punish those dirty Soul Ring players, and you guys know I'm talking about each and every one of you because Soul Ring is in literally every commander deck and you should steal it. It's like Bilbo Baggins said, why shouldn't I slap you in the face and steal your stuff, dude? And then Gandalf did that other cool thing where he gave Bilbo a damn rebuke. Do not take me for some conjurer of tricks. I'm not a conjurer of tricks, dude. I'm Nicky G from Better Commander, signing off.